Hey, Titan. Every morning you stand at a crossroads, even if you don't notice it. The moment your eyes open, you're already making a choice that can shape the next 24 hours of your life. But most people never realize this. They wake up, stretch, grab their phone, and hand their peace, their focus, and their power straight over to the world. And that's why their days feel chaotic. That's why their mind feels heavy. That's why their life never truly moves forward. But here's the truth. The Stoics knew long before modern science ever confirmed it. The first minutes of your morning are not ordinary minutes. They are the control panel of your mind. What you think, what you do, and what you allow in during this tiny window will silently program your emotions, your discipline, and even your decisions for the entire day. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone. In his private journal, Not Meant for the World, he wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people you meet will be difficult, not to complain, not to feel defeated, but to build a mind so prepared, so centered, that nothing could shake him." Modern neuroscience now proves exactly what Marcus practiced. Your brain is most moldable right after waking. Those first thoughts fire neural pathways that decide whether you spend the day focused or distracted, peaceful or anxious, strong or overwhelmed. Yet most people throw away this golden moment. They start the morning with noise, comparison, stress, notifications, and other people's emotions. And then they wonder why their life feels out of control. But you're not most people. You're here because you want to become unstoppable. And that's exactly what these 7 life-changing morning habits will help you do. They're simple, they're powerful, and if you apply them, even imperfectly, your mornings won't just change. Your entire life will start moving in a new direction. Let's begin. There's something powerful waiting in the very first breath of your morning, something most people overlook because it feels too simple to matter. Yet this single shift can change the entire direction of your life. Before the world reaches you, before noise enters your mind, there is a small window where your identity is still soft like warm clay. And the way you shape it in that moment quietly decides how strong, calm, and disciplined you will be for the rest of the day. Most people wake up and immediately let old habits take over. Their thoughts are recycled, their reactions are automatic, and their moods are leftovers from yesterday. They start their morning as the same person they were the day before, without realizing they could choose to become someone better. But when you begin the day by consciously setting who you want to be, you flip the script completely. You stop being a passenger, and you become the driver of your own mind. This is where practicing a preloaded identity becomes a game changer. Instead of waiting for motivation or hoping for a good day, you decide the kind of person you are going to be the moment you wake up. It's like laying the foundation of a house before the storm hits. You don't wait for the noise of the world to tell you who you are. You tell yourself first, and you do it with clarity, not hope. The brain loves certainty. When you wake up and clearly state the type of person you choose to be, calm, disciplined, focused, or resilient, your mind starts filtering your choices through that lens. This isn't wishful thinking. This is psychology. Your brain naturally tries to act in a way that matches what you believe about yourself. So if you say, "Today I stay in control," your mind will quietly look for actions that match that identity. If you say, "Today I finish what I start," you'll notice yourself being less willing to quit halfway. The identity comes first, and the behavior follows. But this only works when you set your identity before your first word, before your mind gets invaded by messages, opinions, notifications, and reminders. The moment you speak, you've already stepped into the world. The moment you pick up your phone, the world steps into you. That tiny gap between waking and reacting is the most powerful time of the day, and that's where identity must be shaped. To make this practical, Choose one sentence that defines who you are becoming. Not a long list, just a single clear line that makes you feel aligned. Something like, "I move with purpose today," or "I stay calm no matter what comes." Keep it simple. The goal is not to sound poetic. The goal is to activate your internal compass before distractions try to pull it in every direction. The magic happens when you link that identity to your very first action. If your identity is strength, then your first choice should reflect strength. If your identity is discipline, then your first behavior should show discipline. It can be as small as making your bed with intention or drinking water instead of touching your phone. The size of the action doesn't matter, the alignment does. Once your identity and your first action match, your brain locks into a new pattern. You start the day not as a collection of old habits, but as a conscious, grounded, self-directed force. And when the world tries to shake you later, it won't feel as easy for life to push you around, because you already planted your feet firmly before anything began. This is how unstoppable mornings begin, not with noise, but with identity. And once you master this, every other habit becomes easier, because you're no longer waking up as yesterday's version of yourself. You're waking up as the person you're choosing to become. Coming from the identity you set the moment you woke up, there's another layer of power waiting right after it, one that most people ignore because they rush too quickly into noise. Once you decide who you want to be for the day, the next minutes determine whether that identity grows stronger or immediately gets drowned in distractions. This is where most people lose themselves without even noticing. They go from waking up with potential to handing over their peace the moment they unlock their phone. And this silent habit, repeated every morning, slowly steals their focus, clarity, and emotional strength. But there is a simple practice that takes back control in a way that feels almost unfair in its effectiveness. This practice is what many call cognitive fasting. The concept is simple, but the impact is profound. For the first 30 minutes of your day, you give your brain silence instead of stimulation. You create space instead of clutter. You protect your mind before exposing it to anything that could throw you off balance. The reason this works so well is because the brain in the early morning is extremely sensitive. It's in a state where everything you consume leaves a mark. If the first thing you feed it is noise, your mind spends the whole day chasing that same level of stimulation. But if the first thing you offer it is quiet, your mind enters the day with clarity, strength, and steadiness. Cognitive fasting means you avoid talking, scrolling, typing, checking, reacting, or consuming anything external during those initial minutes. It's like giving your brain a clean runway before the plane takes off. You're not denying yourself information, you're delaying it long enough to let your mind wake up naturally. When you start your day in silence, your thoughts settle. Your breathing becomes slow and controlled. Your emotions stabilize before the world has a chance to poke them. This is the mental version of warming up before lifting weights. Without it, everything feels heavier. What makes this habit so powerful is that it breaks the cycle of reactivity. Most people begin their day reacting to messages, reacting to notifications, reacting to news, reacting to other people's moods. And a reactive mind never feels in control. But when you give your brain 30 minutes of zero input, you shift from reacting to directing. Instead of waking up into chaos, you wake up into clarity. You're not letting the world tell you what to think or feel. You're giving your mind the chance to choose for itself. During these 30 minutes, the mind starts organizing your internal world without interruption. Thoughts become clearer, emotions become easier to understand. Stress levels stay low instead of spiking. And because you're not feeding your brain a flood of information, your attention becomes sharper. Studies show that even short periods of silence strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, discipline, and emotional control. In other words, silence in the morning makes you mentally stronger throughout the entire day. To make this practical, create a simple rule. For the first half hour after waking, do nothing that pulls your attention outward. No phone, no talking, no emails, no notifications. Let your mind settle before anything else enters. Use the time to breathe, stretch, think, or simply sit in stillness. These moments of quiet do more for your mental health than hours of motivation later in the day. By practicing cognitive fasting, you start your morning with intention instead of overload. And once your mind learns the taste of silence, you'll notice something surprising. The world becomes easier to handle, stress becomes lighter, and your identity becomes easier to hold on to because nothing rushed in to break it. This habit protects your mind from the noise and gives you the clarity you need to move through your day with calm power. Coming from the quiet strength you created through cognitive fasting, the next step flows naturally into something most people underestimate. When the mind is calm and your identity is set, you need an action that locks everything in place. This is where many people sabotage themselves without realizing it. They jump into the day doing 5 things at once, scattering their attention before they've even had breakfast. And once your focus breaks, it rarely comes back the same. But there is a simple practice that anchors your discipline so deeply that even the rest of the day begins to follow its rhythm. This practice is single task mastery. For just 10 minutes, you choose one small task and give it your full, undivided attention. It sounds almost too simple, but this tiny moment of pure focus becomes the blueprint for how your mind behaves for the next hours. Most people live in constant distraction, checking messages while brushing their teeth, scrolling while eating, jumping between tasks without finishing any. Their brain learns to fragment, and a fragmented mind never feels powerful. But when you train yourself to do one thing with complete presence, your mind snaps into a state of clarity that makes everything else easier. Single task mastery isn't about productivity, it's about control. When you take one task, any task, and do it with full attention, you teach your brain that focus is normal, not rare. The task itself doesn't matter. It could be making your bed slowly and deliberately, washing your face with attention, organizing a small corner of your room, or preparing your breakfast without rushing. What matters is the quality of your focus. When your mind learns to stay present, you stop being dragged around by impulses. You stop feeling pulled in 5 directions. You begin to experience a kind of calm efficiency that most people never touch. This 10-minute practice trains your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and discipline. When you deeply focus on one task, even for a short time, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with self-control. And because the brain loves consistency, the rest of your day becomes easier to manage. Suddenly, finishing tasks feels lighter, distractions feel weaker. Your attention becomes something you can direct instead of something that gets stolen. One act of focus becomes a message to your brain. This is who we are today. Another powerful part of this habit is how it protects you from the mental chaos of multitasking. Multitasking is a thief. It steals presence, steals accuracy, and creates a false feeling of productivity. Your brain can't split itself into separate channels. It simply switches rapidly between tasks, creating mental fatigue without real progress. But when you practice single task mastery, you break that cycle. You choose depth over speed, intention over noise, and depth always outperforms scattered effort. There's also an emotional benefit. When you focus completely on a small task, you experience a moment of peace. The mind becomes quiet because it is fully absorbed. This is why many people feel calm while cleaning, organizing, or cooking. It's not the activity, it's the presence. Starting your day with this presence stabilizes your inner world. You begin the morning feeling capable, centered, and in control. And when small tasks feel easy and clear, bigger tasks stop feeling intimidating. What makes this practice effective is its simplicity. You don't need special tools, long rituals, or perfect conditions. You just need a willingness to give your full attention to something small. And over time, this becomes one of your greatest strengths. Because when you can control your focus, you can control your day. And when you can control your day, you can control your life. Coming from the discipline you built through single-task mastery, your mind is now steady enough for a habit that most people ignore, yet it holds the power to remove emotional shock from your day. After grounding yourself in focus, the next step is preparing your mind for the world you're about to walk into. Not the world you wish for, not the world you fantasize about, the real one. This is where most morning routines fail. People visualize perfect days, perfect moods, perfect outcomes, and then collapse emotionally the moment life doesn't cooperate. But there is a Stoic approach that makes your mind stronger instead of fragile. This is the practice of doing a reality preview. It is not about imagining success or dreaming up a fantasy version of your day. It is about mentally walking through what is likely to happen, both the good and the difficult, and preparing your emotional responses before you face them. Instead of trying to escape discomfort, you meet it in your mind first. And when discomfort appears in real life, it feels familiar, manageable, and far less dramatic. The Stoics understood something modern psychology now confirms. People are not destroyed by events. They are destroyed by the shock of events. When you expect challenges, you handle them with calm. When you don't, your emotions react as if every inconvenience is a crisis. A reality preview removes this shock. It gives your mind a map before the journey begins. This practice takes only a few minutes. You sit quietly and think about the day ahead. You go through the situations that might test your patience, people who may behave unpredictably, tasks that could become stressful, and moments where old habits might try to pull you off track. You're not predicting disaster, you're preparing for life as it is. You acknowledge that not every conversation will go smoothly, not every plan will unfold perfectly, and not every emotion will stay stable. And because you're prepared, you meet each moment with a steadiness that feels almost unfair. The benefit of this habit is that it places your mind in a state of emotional readiness. You don't walk into the day hoping everything will go your way. You walk into the day with the strength to handle whatever comes. And that strength creates confidence. Suddenly, you're not afraid of problems because you've already practiced how you'll respond. You become someone who expects the world to be imperfect and stays centered anyway. Another powerful aspect of this habit is how it reduces overreaction. Most emotional spirals come from being caught off guard. Someone's rude comment, a delay, a sudden change of plans. These things feel heavier when you didn't see them coming. But when you preview them in the morning, they lose their emotional weight. They become expected challenges rather than personal attacks. You shift from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "I knew this was possible, and I'm ready." That is how emotional resilience is built. This habit also strengthens self-control. When you mentally rehearse how you want to respond to challenges calmly, wisely, without letting anger take over, you create neural pathways that make those responses more automatic. You're not fighting your emotions in the moment because you've already chosen your response before the situation appears. This is mental training at its finest. What makes the reality preview so transformative is its honesty. You're not lying to yourself about how smooth the day will be. You're not pretending the world will bend to your expectations. You're accepting life fully, without resistance, and preparing yourself to handle it with strength. And once your mind learns to meet reality on its own terms, you stop being overwhelmed by it. You become steady, controlled, and emotionally untouchable. Coming from the strength you built by previewing reality before it arrives, there is a moment in your morning where your identity, your clarity, and your emotional readiness all meet. but they need something sharp to lock them into place. Without a decisive action, even the strongest mindset can slip back into old patterns. This is where many people fall off track. They prepare their mind, they calm their thoughts, they focus their attention, and then they slip right back into comfort. And comfort, especially in the morning, is one of the most persuasive traps there is. This is why the next habit matters so much. It cuts through hesitation before hesitation grows teeth. This habit is known as the cold decision principle. It means doing one difficult thing immediately after waking, before excuses form, before comfort negotiates, and before your old habits start whispering reasons to delay. This is not about punishing yourself or chasing hardship for the sake of it. It's about training your brain to move without waiting for the perfect mood. It's about proving to yourself that discipline can lead and emotion can follow. Every morning, there is a brief window where your willpower is untouched. You haven't been drained by decisions, you haven't been pulled by distractions, and you haven't been influenced by anyone else yet. This window is the perfect time to practice deliberate discomfort. The cold decision principle takes advantage of this moment by asking you to choose an action that your comfortable self would normally avoid. It could be taking a cold shower, finishing a task you dread, making a difficult call, cleaning something you've been avoiding, or stepping outside for physical activity. The action itself doesn't matter. What matters is that it is uncomfortable and that you do it instantly. The reason this works is deeply rooted in psychology. When you choose discomfort early, you weaken the brain's natural resistance. You become someone who moves first and thinks later, someone who doesn't wait for motivation to do what needs to be done. Your brain starts building a new association: hard things come first, and I survive them. And once the hardest thing of the morning is done, everything else feels lighter. Difficult tasks lose their grip on you because you already proved to yourself that you can act without hesitation. This habit also trains your identity. When you deliberately choose something uncomfortable, you reinforce the belief that you are disciplined. You're not relying on inspiration or good moods. Your action becomes your proof. And once you have proof, your confidence grows. You start seeing yourself as someone who doesn't avoid effort, someone who doesn't hide from responsibility, someone who can handle more than the average person. That quiet confidence carries into every decision you make throughout the day. Another powerful benefit is emotional resilience. When you push yourself through discomfort early, you strengthen your tolerance for stress. The brain becomes less reactive because it has already handled something challenging. Small inconveniences stop feeling like burdens. Unexpected problems stop feeling like disasters. Instead of shrinking, you expand. Instead of fearing discomfort, you get used to meeting it with calm. This is how mental toughness is built, not through one dramatic moment, but through small, consistent acts of self-command. The cold decision principle also breaks the habit of procrastination. When you train your brain to move quickly in the morning, it becomes harder to delay things later in the day. Your mind gets used to the feeling of acting before thinking. Hesitation becomes uncomfortable. Action becomes natural. And the more you practice this, the more you realize that most of your barriers were never physical, they were mental. What makes this habit so transformative is its simplicity. You don't need a perfect routine or hours of time. You just need the willingness to choose one uncomfortable action the moment the day begins. And with each morning that you choose discomfort over delay, you grow stronger, clearer, and more unstoppable. The rest of your day falls into a rhythm of decisiveness because you started with the hardest step. You've taught your mind who is in charge, and it listens. Coming from the strength you built by making a cold decision before comfort had a chance to speak, the next habit slides naturally into place. Once you prove to yourself that you can act without negotiation, your mind becomes more open, more steady, and more honest. This is the perfect moment to look inward, not to chase a good mood, but to understand the one you already have. Most people skip this step because it feels easier to distract themselves than to face what they're actually feeling. They try to force positivity, hoping a better mood will magically appear. But Stoicism teaches something far more powerful. Clarity is stronger than positivity, and awareness beats emotional luck every single time. This is where emotional calibration comes in. Instead of trying to feel good or trying to fix your feelings, you take a few minutes to recognize the emotional state you're starting your day with. This is not about judgment. This is not about forcing happiness. This is simply about checking the internal weather before you step outside into the world. Just as a pilot studies the sky before takeoff, you study your mind before engaging with life. When you know your emotional starting point, nothing catches you off guard. Emotional calibration begins with a simple pause. You sit with yourself for a moment and pay attention to what is happening inside, not by analyzing deeply or trying to solve anything, but by naming what you feel. If there's stress, you acknowledge it. If there's calm, you honor it. If there's frustration, fear, excitement, heaviness, or even emptiness, you gently put a label on it. Neuroscience shows that labeling emotions reduces their intensity. The brain relaxes when it understands what it's dealing with. Instead of letting emotions run your day unconsciously, you bring them into the light. The power of this habit lies in its honesty. Most people start their day pretending everything is fine, and then wonder why small problems hit them so hard. But when you calibrate emotionally, you begin the day with awareness. This awareness gives you choice. If you know you're starting from a place of tension, you move more slowly and treat yourself with patience. If you know you're starting with frustration, you adjust your expectations so you don't snap at others. If you know you're starting with peace, you protect that peace instead of letting the world steal it. Emotional calibration is simply understanding your map before you take the journey. This habit also prevents emotional spirals. When you don't check in with yourself, emotions pile up like unseen clutter. A small irritation becomes a mood, the mood becomes a mindset, and the mindset becomes your entire day. But when you pause and acknowledge your emotional state early, you stop that spiral from forming. You allow your mind to settle instead of getting dragged into reactions you never intended. This is what separates emotional adults from emotional children. Awareness, not avoidance. Another benefit is how it frees you from mood chasing. Most people believe they need to feel good before they can do good. They wait for motivation before acting, which keeps them stuck. But emotional calibration teaches you that you don't need to feel perfect to move forward. You just need to know where you're starting. Once you understand your emotional baseline, you can act regardless of how you feel. This is emotional strength, the ability to move with or without the perfect mood. This habit builds internal stability. Over time, you stop being surprised by your emotions. You stop fearing them. You stop chasing them. Instead of waking up and hoping for a good mood, you wake up and create a stable foundation that doesn't depend on mood at all. And the more you practice emotional calibration, the more emotionally intelligent you become. You begin to understand patterns, triggers, and habits you never noticed before. This knowledge gives you power, quiet power, the kind that makes you steady even on difficult days. What makes this habit so transformative is its simplicity. You're not trying to force happiness or pretend your emotions don't exist. You're simply acknowledging the truth of your inner world before the day begins. And once you do that, the world outside has far less control over you. You start your morning anchored instead of drifting. You move through your day with awareness instead of confusion. And you stop chasing moods because you've learned something far more valuable. Emotions are information, not instructions. And you're the one who decides what to do next. Is less than #0. 2 is greater than. Coming from the emotional clarity you built in the last habit, The next step is about giving your mind a moment to choose direction before the day begins pulling you in every possible way. Most people wake up and dive straight into doing, checking messages, rushing into tasks, reacting to whatever grabs their attention. They begin moving without knowing why, and that's exactly why their days feel scattered and draining. But when you start with intention instead of impulse, everything changes. Generative stillness is a simple 2-minute pause where you sit quietly with yourself and allow your mind to settle. You're not emptying your thoughts or forcing calm. You're simply creating enough space to hear what matters. In this short silence, you ask one question: what is the most meaningful thing I could move toward today? That question shifts your mind from chaos to clarity. It stops you from chasing 100 things that don't matter and points you toward one thing that does. The power of this habit lies in how gently it guides your behavior. When you pause before the noise enters, your mind naturally becomes more selective. You start to see which tasks deserve your energy and which ones only drain you. Many people feel overwhelmed because they treat every demand as urgent. 2 minutes of stillness helps you separate urgency from importance. This practice also strengthens your emotional stability. When you start the day anchored in silence, your nervous system relaxes. Small problems feel smaller, unexpected challenges feel less personal, and stress doesn't control you as easily. You enter the day with a calm foundation instead of racing into it half awake and reactive. What makes generative stillness special is its simplicity. Just 2 minutes, no tools, no rituals. Yet those 2 minutes can shape the next 12 hours. When you give yourself this quiet space each morning, you stop living on autopilot and begin living with intention. You choose your direction, and that choice makes the rest of your day feel clearer, lighter, and far more meaningful. And now you see it, your mornings were never just mornings. They were the quiet hours where your identity was being shaped, your mind was being programmed, and your entire day was being set into motion. These 7 habits aren't tricks or routines. They're a blueprint for becoming someone stronger, calmer, and far more in control of their life than the average person ever will be. When you set your identity before the world touches you, protect your mind with silence, master one task with full attention, preview reality before it hits, make one cold decision without hesitation, calibrate your emotions honestly, and anchor yourself in 2 minutes of purposeful stillness, you stop living by chance. You start living by design. You stop waking up into chaos. You start waking up into clarity. And the version of you that follows these habits consistently will be almost unrecognizable from the version that used to wake up reacting to everything. Now it's your turn. Before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these 7 habits are you starting tomorrow morning? I want to know which one hit you the hardest. And if this video brought you value, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next Stoic lesson. Your future mornings are waiting.